Hi everybody! Today I decided to talk to you all about ways to not die in Spain. Very important, I know. None of us want to die when we're off doing crazy things around the world. So here's basically rules of the road that I have learned being in Spain. So, first things first, whether you're driving, whether you're walking, whatever it is, it's very important to remember that unlike in the US, the traffic lights are on the same side of the road as you are, okay? So I don't know how it is in everybody's country, but at least in the US, traffic lights are on the other side of the road so that you can see the whole light. And so the line that you stop behind is that far away from the traffic light. But that's not how it is in Spain. In Spain, the light is on your side, and the line is like literally right next to the light. So the light is here, here's the line. You can't see it. Instead, they have like a little box right here where it's just a green and a red light, and you have to look at that box for your light to know when you can go. Well, the thing is, people go and they stop right next to the line. So instead of having a couple feet of wiggle room, so maybe you can see a bit more, no, people are literally pressed up against that line and they're as close as they can possibly get to it. So it's really hard to see the traffic lights. And that's also really scary when you're walking across the street and all of a sudden a car comes right up next to you because that's where the line is. So don't be afraid. They're not crossing the line. They're not about to hit you, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But it is slightly terrifying the first 50,000 times it happens when you're crossing the road and a car literally just comes and then stops right next to you. So don't be afraid of that, and if you're driving, be aware you need to look at the little box that's next to you. You won't be able to see the full 3 light above you. So number 2, keeping with the idea of walking, is obviously, if you're walking across the street and you're a pedestrian, you have a much higher chance of death, I guess you could say, if you do things wrong. So I'm going to be focusing on that. It's very interesting here that crosswalks, when you go to them, I've noticed at least that a lot of them only count for half of the road. And this is mostly on major roads where there are multiple lanes going in either direction. But when you take your crosswalk, there's going to be a little median in the middle of the road, and that's where you have to wait because the sign that you can walk across the street again is different for the other direction. So what I mean by that is you'll be crossing the street, and first you'll see you've got the green light to cross, and you can go across the street all the way to the median because the traffic that was going that way has stopped. But the traffic going this way has a different traffic light altogether, and they're still driving by without thinking of anything. So you have to wait in the median until your light on that side also turns green, and then you can continue walking to the other side of the street. And I found that really interesting to me because I don't like standing in the median. I know that I'm perfectly safe, but I don't feel so safe when there are cars flying by me on both sides in other directions on major roads. I am not a fan at all, but as long as you know that that's what you're supposed to do and that you are safe, you'll be okay, I promise. And then number 3, going off of that, people stop for pedestrians here. And it's very interesting to me because at least, like I said, being from the US, people don't stop for pedestrians at all, okay? You are in charge of your own life, and if you're going to walk across the street, well, you had better look both ways because other people aren't going to see you. And you just have to be really careful. But here, you'll even be waiting to cross the street. Like, I'm waiting for a car to pass so that it's safe for me to cross, and the car will actually stop a lot of times so that I can then cross in front of it. And that makes no sense to me at all, but I appreciate it because then I get across faster. So don't be confused if you're waiting to cross the street and the car actually stops and tells you to go first. I don't know if maybe that's just how the rules are here or if that's just the culture, but most cars will stop for a pedestrian that's waiting to cross the street, wherever it is. I don't care if you're at a crosswalk or not. If they see a pedestrian waiting to cross the street, they will wait for you to cross. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Possibly that's because most people just cross the street everywhere. I don't know if jaywalking is really a thing around here or if that's just the way of life, because most people do just go. They see that there aren't cars coming or they see that a car is far off and they don't even think about it. They just start crossing the street, no big deal. And that's crazy to me, not because jaywalking isn't is unheard of. I mean, obviously lots of people jaywalk in the US, but you still wait until the cars have gone by. So when the cars wait for you, I guess maybe it makes it easier to just go ahead and cross the street when you see a chance to do so. But don't be surprised if you come here and a lot of people are just going for it across the street and you're sitting here like, there's a car, and then you're waiting and the car instead comes to a stop and tells you to hurry up and get across the street first. So there you go. Some fun ways to not die on the road when you're here in Spain. Until next time, bye bye.